Welcome to the Motormouth YouTube channel. I'm Zach.
I'm Andrea.
Questions, Coffee, and Cars number 207. How do you get questions in for this?
Follow along on Instagram at motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday I put a post out asking for questions. Once we gather them, the post is deleted and we start the show.
Time now for Questions, Coffee, and Cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
What is a vehicle that you have changed your mind about style-wise? For me, it's the Ioniq 6.
Well, my views of that have not changed.
Same.
The Ioniq 6.
I just don't like that one, but I'm glad yours have.
Yes, especially if you bought it. It's fine. I mean, listen.
It's just not for me.
The one thing I've learned doing this for many decades, reviewing cars, when a new design comes out and it's polarizing and you're just not sure, one thing, you have to see it in person. Often when you see it in person, you're like, yeah, it's not so bad. And then once it's been on the road for 6-8 months, you just go, that's just the new whatever it is, and you kind of get used to it. You know, it's an interesting car, Andrea, that is being heralded as the ugliest car ever made is the Pontiac Aztek. But I've seen a Pontiac Aztek recently, and there was a lot of future design that other brands have kind of utilized. Now, if you look at it today, it doesn't look as ugly as it was in the 90s when it came out.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand that. There are a couple for me. Mostly if I don't like an exterior design, it doesn't change. I just don't like it. But the Bolt I always thought was kind of weird looking. I was never a big fan of it. And now its quirkiness has really, really grown on me. I don't mind it anymore.
Well, the Bolt was just a copy of the Honda Fit.
Yeah.
It looked like a GM version of Honda Fit.
And then the other one for me, because I've been seeing it out now in Vancouver, is the new Countryman. And initially when I saw it, I was kind of like, they ruined it. I don't like it. Now I see the previous model and the new one on the road. And the new one's kind of growing on me. I don't think it's as bad as it used to be.
There are some cars from the 2000s, the BMWs that had what was called the Bengal butt.
Yeah.
The 7 Series and the 5 Series. Chris Bengal was the head of design at BMW at the time, and he came out with this trunk look that ended up being called the Bengal butt. Still don't like those. Haven't changed my mind on those. The only one that looks good of the Bengal era cars that were done were the station wagon. The 5 Series wagon of that era, I think, looks pretty good.
And that's one of the reasons why I like the Cadillac CT5 better than the Cadillac CT4 is because of the rear.
Frumpy bum.
On the CT4, I just don't like it.
It's actually the CT4 has a Bengal butt.
It has a Bengal butt.
And no one likes a frumpy bum, huh?
No frumpy bum, please. Longtime fan of the show, thank you. Do you think there's any chance Mazda could bring the other CX vehicles, such as the CX-60 or CX-80 here in North America? I'm not a big fan of the rear look of the CX-70, CX-90, so I was hoping there would be more options when I eventually graduate from my CX-50 Meridian. A lot of people were disappointed that the CX-60 never came to North America. I think, like you said, they're really hoping that it's still going to come. You know, nothing from Mazda. They're not going to tell us, hey, guys, we're bringing out a CX-60. You know, we could barely get anything out of them about the CX-5, the new one. So I don't know. From what I hear when I speak to them, no, it's not coming.
I remember we were in Japan 2 years ago, and they picked us up at the airport, and we're leaving, and driving in front of us was the CX-80. And I'm like, wow, that's cool. And it just looks like the rest of them. They just, there's, I don't know if you know that expression, a Russian doll. You know those little Russian dolls where you open one doll and there's another one inside, and they just get smaller or bigger. And so that's kind of what they did with their design. So if you got a CX-60, an 80, a 70, or a 90, they all kind of look the same.
Yeah. What is a brand you feel unjustly gets its love or its criticism?
I'll go first. I think Chevrolet.
Yeah.
I think Chevrolet is doing a lot of things really well lately. Quality scores are in the top 10 year after year. and people just love to dump on good old the General. They just dump on the General, but the actual statistics are showing that they're producing much better cars.
Yeah, you know what's funny though is yes, they will dump on Chevrolet like the Traverse or the Trax, but when it comes to Denali or Tahoe or
They love 'em, yeah.
Suburban, that's a different story. Or like even a Silverado, for example. I think Hyundai and Kia are perfect examples of that. They have a history that wasn't so great, and they have improved a lot over the years, producing some pretty great products. But we'll review a vehicle and people will chime in and say they're crap, they're this, they're that. And then Toyota and Honda actually doesn't have the best reliability scores when you start looking at JD Power and Consumer Reports and studies that are coming out. But people forgive Honda because of their past and just how positive everything was.
What's so funny when you talk about brands, mainline brands, like we're sitting in a Ford right now, and who would buy a Ford? And you drive a Chevy Trax. What a piece of crap. Who would buy a Chevy Trax? They sell. The biggest car brands in North America are the domestic car brands.
It's true.
They sell a ton. Now, granted, a lot of it is done with the pickup trucks and the full-size trucks, which Andrea just touched on. But, you see why Chevrolet has indexed higher in quality scores, because they spent so much energy and effort and engineering into Silverado.
Yeah.
And if like people ask me, which truck would you buy? I would buy a Silverado with the Duramax 6-cylinder diesel. I think that's the perfect truck for me if I wanted a full-size truck. And then, the Chevy Trax, what a piece of junk. It's got a 3-cylinder turbo. It's made in South Korea. It's formerly a Daewoo. They can't make enough of them.
No. And another one is Nissan, but they do continue to have reliability issues, and they've been plagued by all the issues with the CVT from the past. It's really hard to get out of that. I don't know if anybody has seen the Nissan commercial lately. I was doing a workout this morning and I had the news on, and a commercial came on. And it had all of the Nissan models pretty much. And at the end, it showed all of them. Like it was like the camera was moving to them all. And then it came up with Nissan first in quality. And I thought, well, where is that study from? Like, what is this based on?
Remember, Ford used to be quality as job one.
Yeah.
Didn't mean that they were number one in quality. It was just job one. I don't know. I haven't seen the ad. So Stellantis used to have these ads where they would have these odd research companies that I had never heard of. Oh, number one in this and that. It's like, so you can find somebody to give you a number one in something if you pay enough, I think.
And I've got to pay more attention to this ad. I'm going to wait for, I'm going to kind of pause it and look and see what the heck's
Read the
going
fine,
on there.
get the glasses and read the fine print.
I just let it go, and then I was thinking about it all morning, and I thought, how is that possible? Anyway, we are 4 years since COVID restrictions have been lifted, and Toyota still has no cars on their lots in Canada. I hear between 6 to 12 month wait times for many hybrids, 12 plus months wait for the RAV4 Prime, 3-month waiting time for ICE cars. Many people say that the Toyota lots in the USA have lots of inventory. If this is truly the case, would you have a theory as to why Toyota seems to be ignoring Canada?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned this. Just yesterday, I read an article. I think it was on the website Mobile One or something like that. One of these car websites. It came up on my Google search thing. And it talked about worldwide, Toyota already halfway through the year has made over 8 million cars in half a year.
Right.
Which is like, you just think about that. They are the number one maker of cars worldwide. And that is an astronomical, and they said 50% of them are electrified, meaning they're hybrids. So they cannot keep up with demand. They are not able to keep up with demand. Now, yes, I think U.S. dealers get more cars, bigger market, and also they have king dollar, the U.S. dollar. They get more per unit in the United States.
Yep, for sure. The market is bigger. They're definitely getting more inventory, but shouldn't they? If they have them on the lot, some viewers have said that there is inventory on the lots in the U.S., but it depends where you live. Like in Texas, I've heard there's some extra inventory. But you're right. In Canada, you are hard pressed to get a Toyota. Wait for a Grand Highlander hybrid. It doesn't matter if you get the less powerful hybrid or the more powerful hybrid max. There's a wait time. Lexus, the TX, which a lot of people thought it wouldn't be a big seller for Lexus, just
Oops, sorry. Go ahead, yeah.
was it, because of the size, 3-row SUV. Yes, it has become a good seller for Lexus because people can't get the Grand Highlander. So then they moved into a TX. Obviously, you have to be able to afford it because it does cost more in comparison, especially on the Grand Highlander lower trims. But yeah, it's a tough one. And you can bet that new RAV4 hybrid and plug-in hybrid, there's going to be a long wait time.
Well, the only good thing is, like, they have capacity to make how many hundreds of thousands of RAV4s. Right now, about half of them, or 40 to 50%, are gas.
Yeah.
So that 40 to 50% is going to be replaced, the capacity, with hybrid only. So all of them are going to be hybrids. There's more demand for hybrids than there is for gas. So they might be able to eventually work their way out of this. But that the brand has tapped into, and everybody said that they were crazy. Everybody, who wants a hybrid? Well, Toyota's having the last laugh. They can't make enough of them.
They cannot. And you are right. There's this dealership that's fairly close to our house, and we're driving down the road, and the Toyota dealership is on the left, and there are no Toyotas on the lot. And then sometimes you see one with a big bow on it, and it's obviously arrived and it's been spoken for, and people are coming in to pick it up. And then on the right side, as you drive just a little bit down the road, there's a Honda dealership, and in the window it says Honda CRVs hybrid inventory. So although the Honda CRV is priced quite high in comparison to the RAV4 hybrid,
available,
they have them. And so people are like, I just want to get a hybrid, and I like Honda, so I'll get the CRV hybrid.
So the only thing I can think of is when that capacity is shifted to 100% hybrid, it could get better. I
hope so. I hope so. Do you think adaptive cruise control actually makes roadways safer, or is it worse than having drivers drive on their own? I think there's positives and there's negatives to adaptive cruise control. I remember when I was working for Pepsi and I was on the road a lot, and on the way back after a full day, and I was working, sometimes 12 hours.
And you also drove way out.
And I drove way out. I was in sales at the time, and I'm driving back, and I can feel that I'm a little bit sleepy, and I put the windows down, and it's blowing, and I'm chewing gum.
You need a nice cold Pepsi.
Yeah.
I
probably had that too. I'm not one that can nap. So some of you may say, well, Andrea, maybe you should have just pulled over and closed your eyes, but I can't nap. So it was better off to have the wind blowing. He's the opposite. Okay. He can nap. He could have screaming kids around him.
If you gave me 5 minutes, I would be asleep. Even drink the coffee. I could put my head down and have a nap.
Where I'm not. I'm a little bit more revved up. But when you're driving a long distance and you feel kind of sleepy, I could have used really adaptive cruise control in those situations.
Yeah, but I think it's almost worse though, because
hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
You could really focus on your steering, and I also think, studies show that rear collisions are much less with adaptive cruise control. However, you can't just rely on the system as what you were going to say. That's the negative of it. You still have to be very aware of what you're doing. And sometimes in poor weather like snow, or in rain like those downpours, sometimes that affects the sensors and the cameras, and it just may not work as well. Or if you're in a construction zone.
But what I'm saying is, if the car is doing half of the work for you and you're tired already, then you could really just zone out and you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
I don't like adaptive cruise control because I have yet to be in a car that drives as well as I can. Because the whole part of driving well is is predicting what's going to happen based on what's in front of you.
Yeah.
So if you're looking well ahead, you can see, okay, there's a truck there and there's another truck going by, and I've got to figure out when I'm going to pass and get by. All the adaptive systems can do is react to what's right in front of them. They can only see what's in front of them. It can't look at all of the geography. Like you'll see a truck coming on an on-ramp out of your peripheral vision. And you know that truck is going to then come into your lane, and then you've got to move over. I can judge all of that in real time. The car can't do that because that truck that's about to come on the highway isn't in its field of view. These systems I particularly like when it's bumper to bumper and mind-numbing, stuck on the highway and you're just rolling forward 10 feet and then stopping. That's great. You put it on, you roll forward, the car moves forward, it stops. And that, I think, the stop and go city traffic kind of autonomous system, that's good.
I think that, yes, it's safe. Otherwise, it wouldn't be out there. But you have to use it correctly. There are positives and negatives to it. I think for Zach and I, we grew up without these systems in place. And it's newer technology now for us. But for young people, that they learn to drive and that sort of technology that's available to them concerns me a little bit, because we have learned to look ahead. We've learned to prevent crashes. And I think that sometimes with younger people, when they rely on these systems, it's not so great for them if they get in a vehicle that doesn't offer them.
I would suspect that statistically, all of the aids that are in cars, forward collision warning, autonomous braking, do really help bring down fatalities.
For sure.
So in that situation, Andrea's tired. If she doesn't have autonomous or, laser cruise control, the forward warning, if she was kind of like not paying attention and then someone jams on the brakes, the car will go beep, 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 then jam on the brakes for you.
Yeah.
That is going to eliminate the accident or scrub off a lot of speed and help you survive. That's what they're designed to do. But I have yet to drive an automatic cruise control system that drives as well, because I can see it. I put it on and I try it for 10 minutes and I go, okay, this is going to happen, and the car reacts at the last minute. I would have changed lanes, done this, done that. There you go.
We actually had a viewer who had a medical emergency, and lane keep assist saved his life. Kept him in the lane. Otherwise, he couldn't steer, he couldn't do anything, and it was because of that system in place that saved his life.
Okay, just one quick one. There's a new system. I can't remember which brands have it, and so I don't know if you ever see a video that I shoot from the back seat. And I shoot the steering wheel, and it looks like there's two little red lights flashing.
Yeah.
Well, you don't see it with your human eye. The camera sees it because of the refresh rate of the camera. So this system that has been designed it can see the human driving the car and see if they're paying attention.
Yeah.
And it all works together. This is actually quite clever, and this is kind of what Andrea is alluding to. If say I have a medical emergency and I slump like this system says, dude is not paying attention. And then the car will slow the car down and slowly steer it off to the side of the road using the cameras and all these systems available, and then put on the four-way flashers and then call the assistance for a medical emergency.
Amazing.
Like General Motors OnStar, for example, one of those kinds of brands. So that's pretty slick.
That's really quite incredible. So when you have systems like that in place and you do have a medical emergency, you are very thankful that this technology is available to us today. I recently had my 2023 ND2 Miata manual transmission replaced under warranty at 16,000 kilometers. No tracking or autocross. Any advice for the new transmission? Any thoughts on transmission failure issues on the newer ND2 Miatas in general? Well, I Googled this because I wasn't aware of it. And yeah, some people have had issues with your particular model year. Our 2024 model manual transmission has been good, but we don't have that many kilometers on
Okay,
it.
what's the race series they have? The Mazda Cup or something
Yeah,
like
Mazda
that?
Cup.
So the Mazda Cup is a race series, and you basically buy a race spec MX-5, and so it's basically they're not allowed to change really the engine. You can do suspension, and they put a roll cage in it, and you go racing. It's supposed to be the least expensive way that you can go racing, and it's a great series, and it's bringing a lot of new people into racing. The one thing that they were allowed to change is the transmission, because the transmission couldn't put up with the abuse that they had to give it for driving. So I'm not sure if this is a manual or an automatic.
It's a manual.
Yeah. I found this out because a colleague of ours went to one of the races, and he asked them about the specking of the car, and they said the only thing they're allowed to change is the transmission because it wasn't strong enough. So that leads me to believe that there's a weak link there.
And my question to you is, did you buy this brand new?
Yes.
It sounds like you did, but
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, sometimes you don't know the history if you bought it used and how rough people are with their manual. Are they learning on it? But if you bought it brand new and you
Okay.
say there was no autocross or tracking, I see online that there was a problem with it.
Well, the good thing
they
is-
replaced it under warranty, which is good. I hope we don't have any problems with our 2024 model. So far, so good.
Yeah, but that's good. That's good that they're standing behind it.
Yeah.
That they know there's an issue.
For sure.
All right, so Andrea, if I was a guy watching this, thinking that's pretty good little show, and I liked what they do there, but I got me a question in. How would a guy like me do that? I mean, I could just go into the kitchen and ask Andrea.
You could.
But a
You
guy,
could call up from the basement.
not me, a guy like me.
Or a woman like me.
Just saying, because the guy is like a generic term. You know, when you walk in somewhere and you go, "Hey guys," it's not really.
I do say that, hey
it's
guys.
not gender specific.
No,
it's
I
just
do say, hey guys. Does anybody say, hey guys?
Or you go, dude.
Dude, no, dude is not cool. He called me dude one time,
Dude,
and I was like,
listen, dude, how do you get a question in?
dude.
How do you get a question in, dude?
Follow along on Instagram at motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday, I put a post out on Instagram asking for questions. Once we gather them, the post is deleted and we start the show.
So there it is, guys. That's Questions, Coffee, and Cars. We'll talk to you next time. Have a great day.
For watching.
Dude.